Hello, I'm here today with my friend Tim Gaiser, who is a master sommelier and a food and wine writer. Tim, thanks for joining me.
Oh, my pleasure, Anne. Great to see you.
Yes, you too. So, why don't you just tell people in a couple sentences the kind of writing that you do in your work when you're not
Right.
drinking wine?
I've been in the wine business now for about 35 years. So, early on, I started to write online copy for a company I worked for, which was Virtual Vineyards, which turned out to be the original wine.com, but also other, wine type clients, which could be champagne houses, they could be consortiums in Italy. For a while, Wines of Germany and the VDP, the Growers Association, were both clients. So I was writing copy about German wine, which happens to be a specialty. And then, I was an education director for the Master Sommeliers for 9 years, and I didn't have a lot of time to write. So once I stepped out of that role about 12 years ago, I started a blog. And I've written well over 500,000 words of copy on that blog. And the evil plot behind that the entire time was to write a book about tasting, because that's, again, one of my real avid areas of interest with wine. So, in terms of the kinds of things I've written, I've written magazine copy and articles and blogs and all sorts of things. Yeah.
Great, great. That's fascinating. I bet you have a lot of adjectives at your command because a lot of writing about wine, right, is coming up
Yeah.
with the right adjectives.
Yeah. True. True.
So you were an early tester for some of the writer's voice
Yes.
exercises. Was there an exercise that struck you or you found really useful in your work?
Well, I don't know if there's just one. First of all, Anne, it's a superb book. I mean,
Thank you.
um, there are so many useful exercises. Before our chat, I was actually going through it again. And if anything, the one exercise up front, which I think is the first one listed, is literally to just read your work aloud.
Mm.
And to me, that's kind of like a gap stop in editing to make sure that your voice is consistent and that the flow of your writing is consistent and that it works. And if anything, that it's easy to read for someone.
Yeah.
But beyond that, I think just toying around with your voice in terms of the sentence flow, making sentences shorter and concise versus long, and then being mindful of the punctuation that you're using. That's another exercise I found really useful.
Great.
And then really to just alter your voice, to really push your brain to write in a slightly different voice. To me, I found that challenging, but also really fun and really useful.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I love the ones I did them all myself, where you have
Mhm.
to do something that really feels uncomfortable. Like I would never
Yeah,
write like this.
yeah,
And it can be really interesting by testing the extremes. Thank you.
yeah.
Thanks for sharing that. So you've got a blog. I will include the link to where that is so
Mhm.
people can follow you and read your wonderful writing, Tim. Thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure. I am glad to help.